What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Optimize You. We are helping you optimize every single area of your life every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays with my boy, Matt. This is a Thursday episode, though, so I'm just going to kind of dive into my life. Currently, as you can see, I got the travel mic. I haven't used this in a while. This was actually my initial mic, and then now, but I've kind of used it as if I travel and we're recording podcasts, I want to make sure that I have something. And I kind of like the whole sitting back, for those of you who are watching this on Spotify or on YouTube, the whole just like holding the mic thing. That's it's like kind of a badass thing. It makes me feel like a reporter. It makes me feel like I'm on a show or something. Obviously this is a show, but it just it's cool. So I'm doing it. But we're traveling. I'm up at Minnesota. I had a wedding on Friday. And then I'm just staying through Thanksgiving. So I'm up here for about 2 weeks, and it is a fucking change. Literally, the temps went from 85 down in Phoenix all the way up to about 30 when I got into Minnesota. And so I developed a cold pretty fucking quick. My body was shocked by the change and was sick for like 4 or 5 days. Still kind of getting through it, a little bit of congestion, but we're feeling a lot better. Been sleeping a lot. Honestly, been sleeping like 9.5, 10 hours a night, which is outrageous. But I feel good, feel a lot better today. If you heard me talk like 2 days ago, it would have been a rough episode, but we're feeling good. And really what I wanted to dive into today was just patterns. Something that I have gotten a lot better at throughout my life is just identifying, becoming aware of the patterns in my life. And I think that's always step one to change, is finding, okay, what am I doing? What am I perpetuating in my life? And what I've been able to realize lately through falling back into my old patterns for the millionth time, getting out of my routine for the millionth time, that's life, right? I think that what I've realized through doing this and through getting back into therapy, talking through some of my struggles, is that there's a lot of benefits to those fallbacks, right? It helps us realize and become aware of what's going on. Like, why do we continue to do this? What are the benefits of going back into those old patterns? Maybe it's comfortable, right? It's comfortable. It's familiar. It's something we've done over and over again. And so it's becomes difficult when you do what I've done and you kind of beat yourself up over doing that. You're like, I did it again. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a failure. All of this stuff. It becomes very difficult to crawl your way out of some of these places that we get ourselves in when you're constantly hard on yourself. And so what I've been trying to do is, first off, just be grateful that I've identified this pattern. Also, be grateful that, these addictions that I've had in my life and that I currently have in my life, right? I'm still struggling with addictions, and I'm still struggling with vices and things that pull me in and things that don't make me feel good and things that lead to other vices, like just kind of connected. But, I've one thing I am really grateful around that, and I'm grateful for multiple things around it, but things become a problem very quickly with me. It's very, very quickly I fall into these and get deep into it, like a substance. I've talked about smoking weed. That type of thing, for me, it quickly becomes an everyday thing, right? It quickly becomes something where I'm like, I'm becoming lazy. I'm watching a lot more Netflix. I'm watching a lot more reels on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm spending a lot of time doing things that don't make me feel good, right? And don't make me feel good about myself. Don't make me feel like I'm moving things forward. And so it's easier for me to become aware of those things because they become a problem a lot quicker. Like if I was a slow burn on that and it didn't become this thing pretty quickly on where it was like, when I start drinking, I can't stop, then I might still be in that struggle, right? I might still be going through that, and it might continue to get worse and worse until I was 55, or maybe I never quit. And I never really ended up fulfilling my own true full potential in life. And so I'm grateful for a lot of these things, but what the biggest thing is that I've just been able to realize the pattern that I'm continually stuck in. And that's that I do not handle my emotions in a great way. When certain things come up inside me, when I get uncomfortable, when things aren't going my way, when I'm doing things that I'm not proud of, I feel like a failure, right? And I numb them with outside things, food, drugs, alcohol, all of that stuff. And so it becomes this constant thing that it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I've just realized that the big thing I need to do, and that I'm working on now with my therapist, with myself on a daily basis, is creating space between those things. All of us, we have these vices. We have these things that we're not proud of doing. We have these things that we do to maybe numb our emotions or get away from ourselves or get out of our own head, get out of our own body, whatever it is. Those things, like if we can create space in between them, we find ourselves, we're aware that we're moving towards them, and we can do something, whether that's a short meditation, whether that's checking in with ourselves, like, hey, how am I doing? Why am I feeling like I need to move towards this? Nurture ourselves, just be there for ourselves, be a friend for ourselves. Then we can start to move forward. We can start to understand why these behaviors are in there. And this is coming from somebody who is not even close to solving this, resolving it in his life. But it's somebody who really understands fully that I really need to learn to love and like myself to the max amount, to become my best friend, to be a lot kinder to myself. I think that a lot of my struggles do come from how hard I am on myself. And I think that a lot of us, we are critics. We're very harsh critics to ourselves, but to other people, we're super nice and we're super forgiving and we're super helpful to them, right? If somebody else is going through something that we're going through, we might be like, hey, be kinder to yourself. Like, you're doing really good. You're putting in a lot of effort. And yet for us, the same thing comes on to us. And we're like, fuck you. You're a failure. You suck. All of this different stuff. And so that's something that is really on the forefront, something that I'm going to really try to do. I honestly failed last week. That was my plan last week, was to really start creating space, but it didn't happen the way I wanted to. This week is an adjustment, and we're going to do it again. And I have some things on the forefront of just how I want to live my life, honestly, playful, having fun, loving and liking myself, being my own best friend. Those are the kind of things I want at the forefront of my mind, because I know that all of this change comes from inside. All of this change, this permanent change, it comes from inside of us. It's not going to ever be external. We did a throwback last week episode where I did talk about that stuff. And when I talked about it, you can see from that episode, for those of you who listened to episode 84, I was in a completely different spot. I felt like I had this all figured out, and really, I, obviously didn't, right? There were still things I still fell back, and I realized, what? Some of those times where I did feel really, really good, I was so busy. I didn't have time to worry about vices. I didn't have time to worry about all of these patterns that I sometimes fall back into. I kept myself busy enough. I had meaning, I had purpose, I had something that I was going towards, a North Star. And so I'm grateful that I fell back into this again, and that the last month or two has been a struggle. And it's helped me realize that I really need to become more of my own best friend. And with that, I think on the other side is going to be a lot more enjoyment and fulfillment in my life. So hopefully this has been helpful for those of you out there. Just understand, as always, you're not alone. I've been struggling for the last few months, and hopefully I'm hoping that as I come out of this, I can continue to help more of you who are maybe struggling as well out there. And, just keep in mind, try to be aware, try to be present, try to be present enough to become aware of those patterns that are going on in your life. Because if you continue doing the same thing over and over again, there's a reason for it. And, a lot of times we need to go out inside instead of searching outside for that reason. So that's what I'm doing. That's the journey I'm on. I'm becoming my own best friend. I'm trying to get better every week. I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to enjoy my life more. I'm trying to be more playful. And this probably won't be the last time I fall back in to old patterns, but I know that every time I become a little bit more aware of myself and I understand myself a little bit more. And so I appreciate everybody listening and watching to this. All we ask is that if you do enjoy this, if this is helpful for you, that you do share this with a friend, you do rate us on Apple or on Spotify. It's really, really helpful. Helps Matt and I grow the podcast, get it out to more people, help more people. We do believe that what we're doing here is a really, really good thing, and that we are putting out a lot of good information that if you do follow will change your life. So we do appreciate you, each and every one of you. We hope you have a good rest of the day, good rest of the week, and I'll be talking to you soon.